Mixdown in Live is pretty easy. This track is just dead-headed right up to bar 1. In that case, what I would do is just get a little bit of space here. See, I did Command A and I selected everything and just moved it up 1 bar. And the reason we pulled it out away from the very beginning is oftentimes there's certain third-party plugins can glitch right here on the startup. So at this point, I would get up here and, just move a little bit off. Now we have a grid, so what I do to defeat the grid, remember, is just hold Command key. So there's my mark, and I can just select my area that I want to mix down. All right, so I have my selection, and let's do a little file export audio. You notice there's video in there too. I'll deal with that at the very end. Okay, for now, we just want a stereo mix down. We leave that as master. The normalize is basically takes the hottest section of your wave file and then optimizes the rest upwards to get maximum possible headroom. Back in the day, that used to really wreck tracks, and I never used that. Anyway, render as loop has to do with if I'm outputting a bunch of these separates because I want to clip them for another session, or I want to pass them over to another DJ as elements or whatever. If I had on this turquoise file a delay that hung over on one of my returns, if I have render as loop off, Live will just take that selection and then chop it. So all the, reverb tails would be deleted. If I have render as loop, then Live takes that into account and tries its best to create loops that have nice fade outs, natural fade outs in terms of effects tails, reverb tails. Got it? I have my choice of wave or AIFF. I switched to wave some time back. I think it's going to be a more robust file format going forward. Convert to mono. Not a bad way to double check your mixes, actually. Do a mono bounce down and play it in the car or whatever. Sample rates are hardware dependent, of course, and I have a Symphony card on this, so I could bust it all the way up to 192 if I wanted. Bit depth right here, of course. If I make a 32-bit mix down thinking that I'm going to be Mr. High Fidelity, you won't be able to import that or listen to that on iTunes or whatever. This is simply for going between applications, 32-bit files, and a lot of big DAWs don't import 32-bit, so have that in mind. Dither has to do with noise shaping, and this is another topic. Google this before you put on any of these. If it sounds good, it is good. An analysis file, of course, is just having Live, say, analyze audio, but we can do that anyway, easily. The video we'll look at, I can do my little mix, and off she goes. I'll hit it. One last thing. If I were to do what's called stimming is, say that somebody wanted to do a remix of this little track, and they said, give me stems. If I take this file here, select it, bounce it out, just like this, and that's what, audio 9, and I did something like that, that's going to suck, because what'll happen is that this guy's going to think that that's at the head of the, how is he going to know that lands at bar 29 is what I'm getting at. Stimming involves this, where every track begins dead-headed at one location. If you're working with a video editor, this is the bomb-proof way to sync with picture as well. Just say, hey, I'll stem that track for you. If they want effects, or you want them to have effects, then you would have to bounce each one of these out. If I do file export on audio 12, just like this, as audio 12, what's going to happen? I'm going to get audio 12 before the mixer, before the effects, before the master compression, before all of it. So I'm just going to get this naked truth right there. So in this respect, what you want to do is put this out to master and then solo up and render your tracks one at a time like that. That would be with effects. And theoretically, you could delete all these tracks and then say File, Export all tracks. And theoretically, that's going to give you a bounce of all these tracks. I have not done this because I just don't like doing it that way, but what I suspect would happen here is that you would just get renders of all these, but none of the effects.